Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. When we talk about hydraulic jump, uh, if you see here in figure 2, when we talk about hydraulic jump, figure 3, if you see it in this figure, before the jump, we have a depth of flow y1. Okay. And after the jump, the depth of flow is increased to y2. Okay. So here, this portion is in supercritical, is in supercritical, supercritical, and this is in subcritical, subcritical. Okay. So when hydraulic jump occurs, the flow always changes from supercritical to subcritical. Okay. Or you can, other words, you can say when your flow changes from supercritical to subcritical, we can say hydraulic jump occurs. Okay. So when we talk about hydraulic jump, your flow always changes from supercritical to subcritical flow. And supercritical, your Froude number, I think Froude number you have already studied in third semester. About Froude number, you have already studied in third semester. So we all know Froude number for critical flow is 1. Okay. And for subcritical, it's less than 1. And for supercritical, it's greater than 1. So what is the expression for Froude number? Froude number is nothing but Fr is equal to E by root over GD. See, this D is nothing but D is area by, sorry, area by top width, area by top width of the channel. But see, in many textbook you can find a Froude number expression is given like this: V by root over G multiplied by Y. Okay, so this only valid for rectangular channel. Okay, you see when they are using Froude number for rectangular channel, they directly use this expression. In place of D, they use depth of flow. Why? Why? See, D is area by top width. So area for a rectangular channel, if you consider one rectangular channel here, this is your depth of flow. Your depth of flow is Y and width of the channel is B. Okay. So area will be B into Y. So area will be B multiplied by Y, area. Then when you talk about top width, so our in rectangular channel, your top width and width of the channel, that is bottom width of the channel, is same. You can write here B. In place of T top width, you can write B. Okay, because our top width of the channel and bottom of this width of the channel of a rectangular is same. So this BB will be cancelled out. So in place of D, we can write Y. That is your depth of flow. And this is only valid for rectangular channel. Don't confuse, okay? If you apply same equation for triangular or trapezoidal channel, then your expression will be wrong. Okay, this is only applied for your rectangular channel. In place of D, you can write Y. Okay? So in other words, you can say hydraulic jump occurs when your Froude number is greater than 1 jumps to Froude number greater than 2. When your flow changing from supercritical to subcritical. Okay? And this, if you see here, this portion is in supercritical, this portion is in subcritical, that critical flow is in between the two. Okay, here is your FR Froude number is 1 here in between this. So this is greater than 1 and here it is less than 1. And in between this we have critical depth, that is Froude number 1. Okay. So this is all about hydraulic jump. So don't worry that we have another chapter is a hydraulic jump where we are going to discuss those things in details, that supercritical flow, subcritical flow and critical flow. Okay, including the Froude number. So what we are discussing is our types of open channel flow. So first one is based on variation with time, that is steady or unsteady flow. Second one is based on variation with space, or you can say distance. Here we have discussed uniform flow and non-uniform flow. Okay, and the third one is based on force of gravity. Okay, that is your related to your Froude number. Okay, so we have three types of flow: subcritical, supercritical and critical flow. Okay, the only difference is your Froude number. If for critical flow is 1, for subcritical is less than 1 and supercritical is greater than 1. See, always remember how to remember supercritical. If you see supercritical, your Froude number is greater than 1. Okay, because the name itself we can see that it should be a super, so it should be a greater than 1. Okay, subcritical, the name itself you can see that our Froude number will be less than 1. What is the concept behind it? If you see the equation for a rectangular channel, Vy root over G D, or you can say Y. For a rectangular channel, if you consider D is equal to Y, that means your Froude number is inversely proportional to Y. If Y is less, your Froude number will be more. If Y is more, your Froude number will be less. So that is why, if you see here, if you see this figure, number 3, here your depth is less as compared to this. Y2 is more and Y1 is less. Or you can say Y1 is less than Y2. So that's why the Froude number here is greater than 1, because your Froude number is inversely proportional to your depth of flow. As the equation is Vy root over Gy. Okay, so if Y is more, then your Froude number will be less. If Y is less, then your Froude number will be more. That's why here your Proud number is less, sorry, y is less, so your proud number is greater than 1. Okay, here your depth of flow is more, so your proud number is less than 1. So that is why in supercritical your proud number is greater than 1, and in subcritical your proud number is less than 1. Then the next classification is based on viscous force. So those things we have already studied. We are not going to discuss in details about your laminar flow, turbulent flow, transitional flow. Those things you have studied in the lab also. Okay, so those things we are not going to discuss again. Okay, Reynolds number also you have studied. Okay? Then next one is based on the coordinate system. So we have one dimensional flow, two dimensional flow, and three dimensional flow. So details of this is not required. Okay, just remember that like we talk about no 1D, 2D, 3D, it's similar way. If we take one dimensional, or if you draw a graph of three dimensional, we'll be having three axes. Okay, x, y, z. So these are the direction or components what we are paying. So if you go for higher studies, so in if you do masters in water resource, those things you are going to discuss in details. Okay, what is one dimensional, two dimensional, and three dimensional flow. Okay, then we have based on density. Based on density, we can consider one is homogeneous flow where your density is constant, and one is where your density is not constant. Okay, so see, when we talk about density, the density of water we consider it to be constant, because for any derivation we consider the flow is incompressible, but that is not true. Practically our density is not remain constant for a water. Okay, but to simplify our calculation, or to simplify our derivation, people consider the density for water is constant. Okay, so those things are not in your syllabus. See, this is your hydraulic depth d. This is your hydraulic depth. Okay, we have two things. One is hydraulic radius. Don't confuse that r and d are two separate things. R is hydraulic radius, that is area by weighted perimeter. Okay, that I think you know. Okay, hydraulic depth is nothing but d, that is area by top width. Okay, is for rectangular channel we can say our bottom width and top width is same, but for trapezoidal channel your top width and bottom width is not same. If you see here in this figure, this part is b. Okay, this part is b, so our top width is more than b. Okay, so in that case you cannot write y here. Okay, in place of d. This is only valid for rectangular channel. If you substitute d equal to y. Okay, for rectangular channel you have to find out the top width. Okay, by using Pythagoras theorem. Here is a right angle triangle. You can use Pythagoras theorem here and find out this component. Okay, if you know the side slope, don't worry, we are going to solve problems related to this. Okay, so Another important component is your section factor. So those things you can write it down. Okay, this section factor or the critical depth computation, because those components we need to use for solving problems. Okay, the convenience key k is nothing but your discharge divided by your SB, your bed slope of the channel, SLOPA slope. Okay, bed slope of the channel. So Q divided by root over bed slope is called K. Okay, this is important. Why I am saying those components you need to calculate. Okay, when we are going to solve numericals. Okay, and next, those are basic things. See, I think velocity distribution. Okay, this is a very important section we need to discuss in details. For say, if you consider a river, see, if I can show you some.
Sir, some students are trying to
Is
enter
it
but the
visible?
key is not able to enter.
What happened?
Some students are trying to enter but then he is saying he's not able to enter.
Tasi, your voice is not coming. Can you you can write in the chat box.
Chat box. Ferocious.
Yes, yes. Your voice is coming now. Tell me. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Okay. See here. This is your Kulsi River. Is it visible? It's taken from Google Earth. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, fine. See, if you find out the width of the channel here, it seems see 107.62 meter. Okay, here. If you again travel some distance, we found out that the width of the channel decreases to 93. Understood? So, see, if you consider a natural channel, it's always non-prismatic. Okay, you cannot consider a prismatic channel. Some people do to just simplify their calculations. Okay, now see, if you consider this section, wait, I will. Okay, see, this is again in the downstream. See how these people they are living in the side of the river bank. Okay, once in during flood uh, time, all these are flooded, all this area. Okay. So here see the width of the channel is only 35 meter. Okay. But when it's flooded, you cannot say the width of the channel is 35 meter. Its whole area is flooded. This is a downstream. Okay. After that, the river is connected to the our Brahmaputra river. Okay. See, what I try to explain you, when we talk about velocity, you see this is our section. Okay. If now we can draw, it's this is a top view. What we are looking at, what you are looking at, it's all our top view. Okay. It's a satellite image from where you can identify the width of the river, because it's not possible for you to go every place and measure manually the width of the channel. So you can use satellite image to measure the width of the channel. It gives you almost accurate result, almost. Okay. So now what I am going to explain about the velocity. Suppose here. Okay. So this is your top view. If we want
Feel the
to,
same.
yes,
Sir, most of the students are getting disconnected. They're saying that their network is not good. And someone start to admit them again.
actually I'm not getting you. Can you text me what you are saying? Actually, your voice is not clear. Disconnected. There again. So, but actually, but no one is there in the participants waiting for in the lobby. Okay, so no one is waiting in the lobby. So that's why it's already 42 participants. Again, okay, fine. They admitted again. So actually, Tasi, there is sir, two students are telling me that actually, I just now I checked not the participants thing. It's written there. No one is waiting in the lobby. Okay, so I think it's fine now. Okay, okay, sir. So see, if this is your top view and this yellow line we have seen, we consider it is a cross section. Okay. Now, if you draw the cross section of this channel, it will be somewhat like this. Okay. This will be the level of water. Okay. This is the level of water. See now, see where you are going to find out the velocity here, 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 here. Okay, there is no idea, because if you see velocity near the boundary will be less because of the friction. Okay, velocity in the middle is more. Okay, so now the problem is how to measure velocity. So what we need to do, you need a instrument called current meter. I think you heard about current meter in third semester. So it's an instrument which is used to measure the velocity in a river. Okay. So what we are going to do, we are going to divide the whole section into whole river into some section. Suppose if your width of the channel is 10 meter, we will take 1 meter section. Okay, 1 meter section. Okay, and we divide. Okay, Now, how we are going to divide? Because this is 1 meter, and we will take one bamboo, and we will measure the depth here. Okay. Similarly here, and here, and so on till the end of this. And then we consider this is a triangle. Okay, as we know this is a irregular shape, we consider this is a triangle and this is a trapezoidal. Okay, now we find out the velocity at, for this particular section, we can name it 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, for a particular section 1, we can measure the velocity at 0.8 and 0.2 depth. Okay, 0.8 and 0.2 depth. Okay, see, if you consider this is the bottom of the channel, this is the bottom of the channel, sorry, this is the bottom of the channel. Suppose this portion, this is our bottom of the channel, and if you consider the velocity, it follow somewhat like this. Okay, here at the bottom, means at the bed, we consider the velocity is 0, though practically it's not possible. Okay, because there will be some velocity, but theoretically we consider the velocity at the bottom of the channel is 0. We consider at 0, and then we consider it is increasing because here the friction is more because of the bed, so that's why we consider it 0. And when you go upward, we consider the velocity is increasing, but at the top, or at the top, as we already know, because this is an open channel, it is exposed to atmosphere, and because we have a air in the atmosphere, there is an interaction between the water and flow of air. So because of that, again your velocity decreases at the free surface, at the free surface. Okay, at the free surface. Okay, so that's why we measure at 2 point velocity. We measure at 0.8 and 0.2, and then take V average. V average is 0.8, that is velocity at 0.8, addition velocity at 0.2 divided by 2. We will take the average velocity. So see, we know the velocity, if you move upward, then it's changing in this way. If you move the sidewise, then also our velocity is increasing because that side boundary, because of the side boundary, we have friction, and because of this friction, you again your velocity decreases. So that's why we divide the whole section into number of section. For each section, whole river we divided into number of section. For each section, we again measure velocity at 2 point. One is 0.8 and 0.2, and then we take average for each section, and then we take average for the whole river to calculate the mean velocity of that particular cross section. Okay. Okay, so this is the equation. So we need to find out the velocity at two section, that is point 0.8 and point 0.2, and we can take the average one. Okay, so in last year when we are doing that project with my final year students, then what happened? Actually, we don't have current meter apparatus to measure velocity at point 2 and point 0.8. Then how we are going to measure? So what we did in that particular river, in Kulsi River, we have considered two sections, one and section 2. Okay, we measure the distance. Suppose from section 1 to section 2 is 100 meter. Okay, 100 meter, and then we use some what is a paper. As soon as we put the paper here, we start the stopwatch to calculate the time, how much time it will take from section 1 to section 2, to travel from section 1 to section 2. So what we did, we find out the velocity is equal to distance by time. As we know, the velocity unit is meter per second. So distance by time. But if you see, we are calculating the surface velocity. What we are talking about this cross section, if this is the water level, so we are, whatever we are getting the surface velocity. But if you see, we have already discussed that our velocity will be varying in this way, and in surface we have some decrease because of the interaction between the water level and your air. So that is why if we use this velocity, then it cannot be valid. Okay, actually we need to use this average velocity. Okay? So what we did, we find literature review, and we found that two scientists from IIT Roorkee, they have performed one experiment, and they come up with one relationship between surface velocity and average velocity. Okay, or you can see this expression. This is average velocity and this is your surface velocity. If you multiply it by a constant, you will get the average velocity. So what we did, we calculate average velocity and we have used this equation to find out the average velocity. But it's always preferable to use current meter and find your velocity in this manner. Okay, it always preferable. As we don't have that current meter, so we have used this equation. Okay, but it's always preferable to use this equation and use current meter to find out the velocity at 0.2 and 0.8 meter. So this is the figure we are talking about. So this is the figure. Okay, this is your bottom of the river. If you go up, you see that water is increasing. That is differentiate between the bed rough and bed smooth. Okay, so it depends on the bed of the river. But when it increases, you see here it reduces. Okay, this is because of the interaction of the flow. It depends on if flow is flowing in the opposite direction of the flow of water, then this may come here. Okay, it depends, but the velocity decreases at the surface of the river. You can see here, you can see here, see This is 0.2%, that is V.2. Okay, we are going to find out, because see, we cannot find so specifically as zero point 0.2 main value, because we have to get some instrument to measure so particularly at zero point 0.2 distance. So that's why we need current meter. Current meter. Okay, so you have to take at zero point 0.2 and zero point 0.8, and you take the average. But few people also say that instead of doing zero point 0.2 and zero point 0.8, if you directly take at zero point 0.6, that is also give you the average velocity. If you take at zero point 0.6, that is also give you the average velocity. But after that, there are so much of discussion. It is come up with this is a traditional method, and this is more appropriate. That is zero point 0.2 and zero point 0.8. See, this zero point 0.2 is nothing but zero point 0.2 of y. Okay, depth of flow. Okay, see, if a depth is 5 meter, zero point 0.2 is 2% or 0.2%. Sorry, 0.2% of y. At that depth, you are going to measure the velocity, and 0.8% at that depth, 0.8% of y. Y is your depth of flow. 0.8% of y. At that point, you are going to find out the velocity, and then you take average. V 0.2 plus V 0.8 divided by 2. So this is the equation you are going to use. See, this is very important, because if you go, you are in a final semester, if you go for any interview or any competitive exam, this is our most expected questions: how to determine average velocity in a natural river. Okay, it's always we have to calculate two velocity at zero point 0.2 and zero point 0.8, and then you have to take the average. Okay, okay, okay. You can see here in this figure 1.6, figure 1.6, what we are explaining there. We are going to divide the whole section in number of section, whole river into number of section. Then we consider this is a triangle, this is your trapezoidal, this trapezoidal, and at the end again it is a triangular. Okay, so here again, how to find this search, we find out the area, because this will be we are going to measure. Okay, suppose if this is your 10 meter, then we will divide into 1 meter, 1 meter, this is 1 meter, this is 1 meter, this is 1 meter, and so on. Okay, so this is 1 meter, and this depth we are going to measure. Okay, you can use cross staff also, you can use a bamboo. Okay, to measure the depth of flow at 1 meter, 1 meter. So these are all known. Then we are going to find out the area of this particular, considering it as a triangular. So half into base into altitude, and this here in the next section we are going to use the area formula of trapezoidal. Okay, so we can find out the area a1, a2, a3. Then how to calculate velocity? Velocity we will calculate for each section, we will calculate the velocity. Suppose for each section, that y value we are going to measure here, then at zero point 0.2 and zero point 0.8 we are going to measure the velocity. So we can so v1 average, v1 average will be v1 at 0 0.2 plus v1 at 0 0.8 divided by 2. So you will get the average velocity of that particular area, this area. Okay, similarly you can calculate the average velocity for this area, for this area. Okay, for this area. Okay, so and so on. So you can find out the average velocity for each of the area, each of the section. and you can substitute here. So we know discharge is area into velocity. So we find out discharge here, discharge here, discharge here, and we add all. We will get a total discharge of this particular river. Okay, that is your tube. Okay? Okay. So I repeat once just to make sure that the people have understood properly. Okay. Say suppose this is a river, cross section of the river. What we are going to do, suppose this width is 10 meter, width of the channel. Okay, this width is 10 meter, 10 meters. So what we do, we mark 1 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter, and so on. Okay, so after 1 meter, here this is 1 meter, we are going to measure the depth of flow, that is y1. Okay, then again after 1 meter, we are going to measure the depth of flow at y2. See, this 1 meter is not your standard value. You can take 2 meter, 3 meter, it's up to you. Okay, more you take section, more accurate result you are going to get. Okay, less section, you will get less accurate. So more you take section, more accurate result you are going to get. Okay, so that first section we measure the depth of flow after 1 meter, and then again after 1 meter, again we will take depth of flow, and so on. After again 1 meter, we will take again depth of flow, and so on. Okay, so what we do for that, this triangle, we are going to use the equation to find out the area of a triangle. Okay, half into base into altitude. So this will be base and this will be your altitude, then you find out the area. Okay, so what is our aim is to find out the discharge for each section. Okay, so for q1 or section 1, if you consider this is a section 1, so for q1 we need area 1 into velocity 1. Okay, so area we are going to use half into base into altitude, area of a triangle, half into base into height. Okay, so half base is 1 meter and your height is your y1. Okay, in place of height we can use y1, that is depth of flow. Okay, then you find out the area 1, then we need to find out velocity. So what we do here, again in this section, we are going to find out the velocity at two places, that is 0.2 and 0.8. So for v1, when you calculate v1, so v1 is equal to v1 0.8 plus v2 0.8 divided by 2. Okay, so we'll get the average velocity. This will be your average velocity for that particular section. When you multiply, you will get your discharge. Okay, so similarly you can find out the discharge for this particular area also, considering it is a trapezoidal, considering this is also trapezoidal, and the last one, and the last one we are going to consider as a triangular. So if you add all the discharge, you will get the total discharge of that particular river in that particular section. Okay, so the meeting will end very soon. So we end here today. Okay, and we will discuss the further classes in the next classes. Okay, so do you have any questions?
Hello, sir.
Ah, Laisram.
Sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. How in that figure, sir? How do we find the uh, bottom side of the trapezoidal distance? Uh, I mean the bed of the river area. That one.
Uh-huh.
Because to find out the area of the trapezoidal,
Ah,
it's half. Uh,
sum of the parallel
Equals into
sides
top
multiplied by
side
the
and
vertical
yeah,
distance. Okay. Wait, just a minute, just a minute. Okay.
yes, the
See, if you consider this is your
we have
trapezoidal,
any.
okay, so you can see this line and this line is parallel. This is your y1. Is it visible, Laisram?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. This is your y1. Okay. This is your y2. Okay. So our
Oh,
half
oh,
into
yes,
sum
yes.
of the parallel
I got
sides.
it, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Y1 plus y2.
Mm.
Okay, multiplied by your vertical. That is if you consider 1 meter, if you have multiplied by 1 meter. Okay,
Oh,
so you will find out
oh,
the area for that particular trapezoidal and so on. Okay,
oh,
you continue and again the last one you use again the area of a triangle, half into base into altitude. Understood?
oh.
Is
Yes,
it
sir.
clear?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
See, if you have doubts, you feel free to ask. Okay,